That was a good catch. Black women tend to go underdiagnosed when it comes to eating disorders.
Really?
Yeah, unfortunately. You know, I thought I had an eating disorder in high school, and so I did a lot of research on the subject.
Hello, all. Welcome back to What's On Tonight, a podcast with elaborate, quirky, and unpredictable conversations about TV, movies, and more. I'm Becky.
And I'm Mandy.
And I'm Justin.
Yay!
Today we are covering HBO Max's hit show, The Pitt, Season 2, Episode 4, titled 10 a.m. Please note this is a spoiler-filled podcast, so if you haven't watched the episode yet and don't want to be spoiled, just come back and check us out once you're done. So you heard a very special voice there just a second ago. So we want to welcome our first ever celebrity guest host, Mr. Justin Wade, who played... Mandy changed my notes. I had written AKA Brainworm Guy from season 1, and Mandy changed it to who played the patient with a parasitic worm in his brain in season 1.
I am giving him some dignity.
I love it. Oh, that's funny.
I like it.
If you don't know, Justin was our first cast interview, and he was very gentle with us. So we promised to be gentle with Justin for his... Is this your first podcast that you've ever guested on for a TV show?
Yeah.
Wow. So we're your first now.
Yeah. I mean,
we'll be gentle.
It's virgins all around.
Well, that's something that's never mind. My mom listens to this podcast. I have two children, so I'm pretty sure she knows, but I don't know that she's put that 2 and 2 together yet. So
there's just some things that as children of parents and whatnot, we don't like to talk about. Well, welcome, Justin. We are so glad you're here with us.
Well, we've been talking about this for almost a year now.
Mandy and Becky, thank you for having me back. It's absolute pleasure, and super grateful that you brought me back.
Well, tell us what you've been doing. What have you been up to in the last year-ish?
Oh, God. Let me see. I did a couple shows. I did one called Imperfect Women. I think it's with Kerry Washington and Elizabeth Moss.
Cool.
Or I play a cop, and that was cool. They actually brought me back, and they wrote me into the final episode. Kerry was just like, I just want you to know that you weren't supposed to be in this episode, but we wrote you in because we really like you. And I was like,
not surprised. Yeah.
I'm going to cry. And then I said, don't make me cry. And then I was like, I'd give you a hug, Kerry, but you're in costume. And we both laughed at that. And that was it.
So, Kerry Washington, she is amazingly.
I
so
can't
beautiful.
Imagine. I feel like if I met her in person, it would be like staring at the sun.
Yeah.
She's so freaking gorgeous.
She's so cute. And just like everything about her is just so nice. And the same with Elizabeth. And actually the whole show for Imperfect Woman, which is Esme, it was absolutely dynamite. It was a female director, female camera operators, female producer, female leads, female casting director, female writer. And it was great. I couldn't believe I'd ever seen something like that before. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's girl power.
That was girl power. And it was, and the set was really, really cool. It was a cool set. It was like, it was vibing. Everyone was just clicking on all cylinders, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Well, that's cool.
When does your episode release?
I don't know.
Okay. Keep us posted.
I will. I'll keep you posted. I think it's on Apple. I don't know. I do something and then I just completely forget about it.
You're like, oh, wait.
I don't want to hear about it. I was like, when's it coming out? I was like, I have no idea. Sometimes I don't even like to even say that I've done anything because I just, you never know. You could be on the editing floor,
Yeah.
Asking you, hey, so what happened? You're like, I thought you were going to be on that show. And I'm like, yeah. Just keep looking.
And then you get cut and you're like, I don't want to talk about it.
It makes me think of that Friends episode where Joey was going to be on, was it Law and Order or some cop procedural show? And he invited his grandmother over to watch.
It was Law and Order.
And he got cut out. So him and Chandler went and did a scene in their apartment and then brought it back over to Monica's and played it. So his grandma thought he was on the show. That's what we're going to do if they cut
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Well, that's what I should do with every job that I've whenever I'm on the editing floor. It's reenacted.
Yes. We would love to co-host with you in your reenactments.
Oh, whew,
Yeah.
do it my way.
That could be our
I'm
new
gonna do it
hobby.
the director's way. I would do it my way.
Yeah.
Over the top, crying.
Start our own web series.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I don't know a lot about Elizabeth Moss, but I have read a bit about. I find Kerry Washington fascinating, and she is very open about trying to create more opportunities for women in that industry. So that's amazing. That's awesome. It's good to see her walking that walk.
Yeah, they were great. They were very cool to work with. Very cool.
What about your personal life? Everything going good? Everybody all right out there?
Everyone's good. Family's good. Kids are great. My son just moved to Colorado with his girlfriend.
Oh,
Nice.
And he's 24, and he's kind of following in the same footsteps as his mother and I, where we both moved out of the house when we were like in our early 20s,
yeah.
different state. For me, it was a different country.
Yeah.
And the 17-year-old girl she's a beast, and she's playing soccer, and she's kicking ass in school, and
Good for her.
she just got a car. So it's just like,
Uh-oh.
there she goes.
You held up pretty good in the fires, and
there she goes.
Yeah.
you held up pretty good in the storm and the fires that have been going on out there. Have you been safe?
Yeah. It's funny. It's like the thing about California, and it's like with anything, whether it's fires or ice, fire and ice, it's like you'll look at your door and it's like there's nothing going on, but you'll go like 3 blocks over and it's complete pandemonium, and it's interesting, so it's a big city. But other than that, I've got my show, Actors Night. It's a little shameful plug right there that I've been doing for the past 5 years at the Broadwater Theater. The show is essentially an open mic for actors to come in and do scenes and monologues. And there's no critique and there's no judgment. So actors come in and they just do the work. And there's a lot of times where you don't have time as an actor to work in a theater because you'd have to have like a month to 6 week, 8-week commitment. And so this is for you to just get in front of a live audience who are super supportive. And you go up and you do scenes, whether they're original or contemporary or classic.
Mandy, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
That we need to move to LA and just
Not move to LA. Can we just visit and do a scene? What would we do?
Yeah, you totally could.
Oh my God, this is it.
I know exactly what we'd do, Becky. We would do the scene from Friday. Yes. When Joy is on the phone.
Who's that bitch?
Yes.
I record it, I mic you up, and you can have it as like, this is what we did.
Now we just have to fight over who gets to be Joy.
I definitely think it would be better played by you.
I'm just saying, I would enjoy it. I'd eat that up. I would eat that.
That would
up.
be cool. All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna stick a pin in that because
And that one, yep.
I think something big's about to happen. Stay tuned. Stay tuned, y'all.
Before we get into episode 4, we got some feedback from the Pirate Core YouTube page on our episode 2 coverage at Linda1541. Hey, Linda. Said, great job, ladies, with a little heart emoji. I look forward to your podcast every week. Linda, we look forward to your feedback every week.
Yes, we do. And from our What's On Tonight Facebook page, Caitlin Cucuzzo wrote, the best episode yet. Love that they slowed it down a little to show tender human moments with a heart emoji. Noah is talented at literally everything. Caitlin, I could not agree with you more. That man is gifted.
Yeah, that was my favorite episode. Last week was my favorite episode so far. Probably, again, I think we've covered that of the entire series.
So, yeah, same.
Yeah. Well, let's get into this week's episode. So, episode 4 was written by John Cameron and was directed by Cynthia Adarkwa.
And as our special guest, Justin, would you like to read this very lengthy synopsis provided for us by Wikipedia?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Asking me to read?
Yeah.
By the way, I was never excited to read anything, especially in front of a group of people. I mean, we all remember what it was like to read,
Oh, I loved it. I lived
Oh,
for
I
it.
did too. I was here for it.
Elementary class? Oh, I hated it.
You put me one-on-one, I am a hot mess. But you put me in front of a room full of people, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Well, okay, here goes. As the ER, no, just kidding.
No.
As the ER prepares for diverted cases from Westbridge, Robbie keeps Langdon in triage and assigns Whitaker, Santos, and Javadi to the first arrivals. The first patient is Vince Cole, a young man injured after falling through a skylight while attempting parkour. Parkour!
Parkour!
During treatment, Joy cuts her finger on embedded glass, requiring HIV and hepatitis testing, but Emma accidentally drops and destroys the blood vial. Ogilvy removes a large shard from Vince's back, causing severe bleeding that Robbie, McKay, and Garcia control, ultimately saving Vince. Whitaker saves his patient, Mr. Samba, from a heart attack by identifying a posterior STEMI and later treats Louis' toothache. I love Louis.
Me too.
Langdon is still working with a patient named Willow who accidentally glued her eye shut. She asked for Dr. J, revealed to be Javadi, who was apparently a TikTok influencer. McKay manually resets an elderly man's fractured tailbone and agrees to a date with another patient. Mohan counsels the uninsured Diaz family on coverage options. Santos and Mel place a bulimic patient into treatment. Oh, and Santos faces pressure from Dr. Al Hashimi, overcharting. Dr. Al calls Langdon out of triage. Langdon suspects a returning cellulitis patient has MRSA or worse. Now, when I watch this show, I have got my phone next to me and I watch on closed caption.
Same.
Because I just want to see how everyone pronounces these words.
It's crazy.
The medical jargon and I just want to see if anyone like chips a tooth trying to pronounce them.
Yeah, that would be incredibly difficult. I don't know how they do it every week. I can't keep up with it, even with the caption on. I can't imagine how they just have it flowing off their tongue. I think I'd drive them crazy. It would take me a very long time to learn that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I'll ever watch anything closed caption is when I'm watching a British television show.
Yeah.
My kids have totally sold me on closed caption. Gen Z kids, they all watch everything on closed caption.
They do.
And it drives my husband nuts. And now I can't, there's very few things I can watch that I don't have closed caption on.
Interesting. Yeah.
All right, let's dive into this episode. This was not the most fast-paced episode, so I think we can get through this pretty quickly, but there were some good moments that I wanted to talk about. So let's start off with the bet with Dr. Robbie. What is the security guard's name?
Oh.
I meant to write it down and I didn't.
Oh, I don't know his name.
Do you know, Mandy?
Mm-mm.
I like to see that he's getting more lines, you know?
Yeah.
Evan got a line. Evan Allen, Gessacy.
Who is he?
He plays Nurse Dave Miller.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. It's cool to see them giving these regulars a little bit more time.
Like the nurse that saw Rabinovich lose his shit. Can I say that?
Yeah.
So it was the end of like season 1 where he had the breakdown in the kids' room.
Yeah.
And the nurse asked him if he needed anything to eat or drink. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Because, you know, it's that the small roles, I love it. And knowing the show and having been on the show, you want to see everyone get a little something so that everyone's got a little something for their reel.
Yeah, since
Yeah.
we started talking to you guys, that's something I pay more attention to is the people in the background. Like as I'm watching this episode specifically, I'm thinking about all of the ambulance crews, and I'm thinking I'm so excited that I don't feel like that we saw them as much last season, and I feel like there is more recurrence. And we interviewed, it was one of the Brian
Tishnell, Medic Amboy.
Yeah, Medic Amboy a couple of episodes ago. So now I'm really paying attention to the ambulance crew to see how often they're reoccurring there.
Who else is on there as the ambulance crew? It's Adrian.
I don't know him.
Adrian Lewis.
Did you notice the one last week, Becky? I think he was Filipino, but he had bleached blonde hair and bleached blonde eyebrows. I could not take my eyes off of him. And I thought about, as an actor, was that a choice that he made to color his hair before he went in, or he just had that look before they chose him?
Yeah,
I wonder. I did like, speaking of a lot more ambulance, what are they called?
EMTs.
EMTs, thank you. That when it was the woman in the last ambulance that I think it was that dropped off Mr. Samba.
The redhead?
Yeah. And Robbie
Yeah.
was like, good to see you. Thank you. I love him continuing to talk to everyone in the hospital. It's just
Yeah.
a little nod showing how important
Everybody
everybody
is.
is, no matter what job you have. It's extremely important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, well, back to back, Dr. Al-Hashimi and Robbie. A
Flirting.
lot of flirting going on.
She basically just asked him out, I think, by telling him that, don't worry, I'll buy you a drink with my winnings. And that little smile. Those two, something's brewing.
I saw it was a tweet or a TikTok or something that said this week, was it something that Sam sent us, Becky, that said, like, one thing you say about Dr. Robbie is he's going to pull chicks. Like, he's
Right.
got
Like
all
his
this
life is
going
falling
on.
apart around him, but he's still getting it.
Like, well, all these girls are after Dr.
But
Robbie.
he isn't though. Like he's a solo writer, like on his motorcycle.
Well, Noelle Dr. or nerd, whatever, insurance lady Hastings, they obviously boned. Had a thing last season at some point with Dr. Collins.
And now you got Dr. Al who's trying to get in there.
Right. So doesn't seem like he might have a shortage of mental health help, but he does not have a shortage in peen health.
Yeah, like women will do anything but date a man who's not damaged and emotionally unavailable.
Yeah. We can fix them.
I can't really engage.
In that conversation.
This one, you guys are going off. Like,
I'm just saying,
I'm just
Dr.
sitting here
Robbie,
nodding my head, going, "Yeah, okay,
Dr.
sure."
Robbie's
Yeah.
a cutie, but he is not. I don't get.
Handsome.
Honestly, he is damaged. I don't really understand.
Yeah,
all of
but
this, but I
I
kind
don't
of
know
do.
that all of these people know how damaged he is.
Dana, they need to ask Dana.
There's a lot of women out there who I was one once in my life
You're
before
right.
therapy and learning self-worth and whatnot, that, you're with the douchebag, but you or somebody that should not be in a relationship.
The
but
emotionally
you
unavailable
can
bad
fix
boy.
them.
Yes, I can fix
We
him.
think we can fix
no.
them. And that's never how it goes.
Yeah. So anyway, she's very cool to Dr. Langdon, though.
I loved that. I
Yeah.
really loved how she had that little moment with him, because everybody else is tiptoeing around it. And
Yeah.
when you've been through something like that, especially addiction or anything that and I hate to say the word wrong, what he did was wrong. It was bad, but you're working on getting better, but people will keep you at arm's length or
Right.
side eye you or whatever. But she came at him head on. And I think that's the kind of respect and acknowledgement that Langdon needs from all of these people as he's going on this apology tour, that she just approached him and was like, I'm proud of you. I think it's great what you're doing.
He's not getting that from Robbie.
Yeah. So I'm glad that somebody
Yeah.
did give that to him. And then we have Robbie, who we discover that when he's talking to Dana, that he wanted to be gone before Langdon
Yeah.
came back. So it seems like Langdon came back because they were shorthanded. And that's the only reason he was there. And Robbie he's not one bit interested in dealing with it. And I like that Dana told him, look, you're going to have to face this at some point, which is what I said in episode 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
How do you see that storyline, Justin? We have a little bit of a different. No, I don't have a difference of opinion. I'm a little bit harder on Langdon than I think Becky is. I think it's the same way a lot of people feel about Santos is the same way I feel about Langdon. He just kind of seems entitled to me.
When I acted as my character to Langdon, I thought he was an entitled prick.
And he was last season. He was a douchebag. I don't deny that.
But the one thing that I've learned from this show is, you got to see beyond the veil.
Yeah.
And, it's one thing that I've learned from Dr. King and from Dr. Robbie is that everything isn't as what they seem.
Right.
And as an audience member, that really lends to Dr. Langdon's character, because there's more to him than just the pretty boy Clark Kent hairdo with the cleft chin, entitled, probably played lacrosse,
Yes.
Knows what it's like to hang out at a golf club and drink, what is that? The Arnold Palmers. And
Yes.
so there's a part of you that just immediately is just like, screw this guy. I would never even, but there's a certain gravitas to him that I'm now starting to see as an audience member start to come out, and that he's actually working through his own shit. What's great is that it's actually changing the whole pretty boy dynamic of entitlement, that here's a guy, a white male, who's in a position of power that is actually changing himself, make himself a better person.
Yeah.
I always come down to like, what's the end result? Like, what are we going towards?
Right.
When you're going through life, there's so many people that are so privileged and they have so much money and they think that that's the way you have to be, as opposed to working on your own emotional core, like who you are as a person, and your dying bed. Are you regretful of, or are you happy with the things that you did, the choices that you made in life? And I see Langdon working towards more of that, as opposed to being cocky male doctor.
Yeah.
His human side is starting to come through, and he's slowly showing humility. And I was with everybody else. I liked him as a doctor. I thought he was a phenomenal doctor, but personality wise, he was a bit of a dick. And so we all wondered how he was going to come in this season. And I do think he is really trying in his own way, and it's not going to be perfect. Recovery is never perfect, and it is something that you're going through your whole life. And recovery doesn't necessarily mean you change every facet of your personality, but I think he's learning, and we'll talk about Santos when we get into chart notes, who is also learning a lot about humility. So it is very nice to see.
I think it's going to get worse for her, but yeah.
Yeah. And I like that Dr. Al was honest and upfront with him. And I think that gave him a little bit of relief that here's one person who isn't judging you, who supports what you're doing. And you need to hear that.
I honestly think that also too, just that for Dr. Al, that it was great to see that softer side of her, because the rest of the episode, she was super Dr. Al. She was doing the most all the time.
Yeah.
She was a lot.
But we did get a lot more. We talked about it last episode, how we're starting to get to see more of her personality. So that opening scene with them in the bed and her little joke with Robbie, it was nice.
I just have a suspicion, as I've already said, that she's going to have her own trauma. And when she talked about being in the Doctor's Medic program, which is a program to help doctors who have slipped up or had some kind of health crisis or something like Langdon has experienced with addiction, to get back to solid ground with their medical practice. And I feel like it's going to come out that she has had to have something like that due to whatever trauma, because I still think she's going to end up having been in like a combat situation.
Yeah. And maybe that's why she was so open to him about it. So we'll see.
Yeah. Speaking of therapy.
I remember just watching the beginning, like everyone seemed very, like it was very, like blocks of personality. Everyone had these blocks of personality, and it seemed very basic. Like Santos was just like, she was a bull in a china shop.
Oh, she was old, and she's my favorite. I love my girl, and we're going to get into that later, but she was the most Santos in this episode.
She was, but for the first time, it didn't piss me off, because we'll get into it. We'll get into Santos a little bit, because she is one of the main points. But I want to move into, we do get confirmation from his conversation with Dylan that Robbie has been in therapy, and it doesn't seem like he's liked the last two therapists, which I understand, being someone who is an advocate for therapy, who has gone through therapy myself. It took me a couple of times to find the right therapist. So it's not surprising that he didn't click, but I also don't think Robbie really wants to do therapy. Right. So I don't think he's trying. But I liked that Dylan is like,
that wasn't Dylan.
Hmm?
Dylan's the social worker. He's the psychiatrist. I can't remember his name, though.
The gentleman in the wheelchair, who's also his friend.
No, Dylan's the therapist. I mean, the social
The red,
worker.
the redhead social worker with
Yeah.
Oh, well, what's his name?
Hold
the
on, I'm
Viking blood.
Because I
Googling
done wrote
it.
Dylan all over my note.
Caleb, Dr.
Caleb.
Jefferson.
All right. So
Yeah.
when Caleb has been trying, thank you, Mandy. Caleb has been trying to get him to see the therapist, and Robbie blows it off because he's leaving. And Dylan says, well, there's Zoom therapy. And Robbie counters by saying that him riding his motorcycle is Zoom therapy and just walks away.
It's her.
Yeah. So unless you're fully committed to therapy, therapy isn't going to work for you. And Robbie, obviously, right now isn't very committed. But I do think, and Justin, we talked a lot about it in the first couple of episodes, that we think Robbie is heading for a major trauma with this motorcycle, not wearing his helmet. Something big is going to happen that I think maybe might wake him up to where he realizes, okay, this is serious and I need to buckle down. But we were wondering, has he seen a therapist? We know he's seen at least two.
By the way, I Googled the laws in Pennsylvania because they kept referencing the driver safety program. And I wanted to know what exactly that meant. In the state of Pennsylvania, there is a program that you can take that if you are over 21 years old and you pass this course, that you don't have to wear a helmet.
That is the dumbest thing ever. In South Carolina, there is no course. You don't even have to wear one. You just don't have to.
I was going to say, that sounds more like something we do down here in the South, but no, that's in Pennsylvania.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Yeah. When I first saw it, I was surprised. I was like, wow, I want to see how this is going to pan out.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of those things I told you that always kind of grabs my attention is like the things specific to Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh.
Well, they do a great job bringing all of that in
That
to
local
make
flavor.
it as realistic as possible.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny when Santos, Javati, and Robbie were out in the ambulance bay and Santos comes out asking what everybody thinks about Dr. Al. And Javati's like, you're going to gossip to an attending about another attending. And Robbie does the
Zip his lip
thing. I was like, yeah, he's got some thoughts, but he's not sharing them. But I did notice that when he sent them in with the other two patients before the third patient, heart attack patient, is pulling in, you see that stress building because he's like, I'll be there in just a minute. And he stops and he takes that really deep breath. So like last season, that gradual buildup into his breakdown, obviously we're heading in a similar direction. We don't know what the end result's going to be, but it showed a lot right there.
Yeah, well, it was a code black. Yeah, which I still don't know what that is really.
It's when another hospital shuts down.
Oh, it's that's it.
That's it. That's what a code black is. Yeah.
Okay. Because I thought it was something like it's either an overflowing toilet or.
Well, that could be what caused the hospital to shut down. That's what the bet is. We need to get in on the bet on what we think it is.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, you guys are up to this. Code black. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That seems like it should be saved for something a lot more serious than that.
Code black
that's not
to
serious.
me seems like a mass trauma coming through. Code black is a hospital shutting down. It doesn't sound as exciting as the name.
I noticed he had that little moment where he was kind of like getting it together before the second ambulance got there. And I think that just felt like his PTSD was continuing to be triggered.
Yeah.
Bringing you back to the last show on season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With the multiple GSWs or GSWs, gunshot wounds. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With the Pitt Fest. That, I watched that one. I got to tell you, wow. I rewatched it last night, just the last episode. I'm walking around my place watching this, just going, oh my God. I'm like every Black person in the history of the Magic Johnson Theater that's just screaming at the TV, just going, no, stop. And they're injecting with the needles. I couldn't handle it.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Brutal. It was painful to see.
It was so hard. And but I was thinking and that was directed by Amanda Marsalis. And I was just thinking how much work and coordination and choreography that went into that last episode.
The choreography. Yeah, I can't even imagine.
insane. Yeah, just like, okay, we know, and they knew exactly what they were going to shoot. I mean, to map that all out. But you go back to that last episode, there's a lot of different shots and
Yeah.
and different scenarios. And within those, you have 20 different shots in each scenario.
Yeah.
I would have hated to be the editor for the last show.
Yeah, it blows my mind. We had this sound engineer on, Brian Parker, and us not being in the industry at all, it was really mind blowing to me to see how many cooks are putting the broth together every episode.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about, just the choreography of what is going on in these wide shots, that episode or that whole event particularly, and then to throw in all of the sound editing that has to go on behind all of that.
And that's all added.
Yeah.
All of those sounds, the background talk, the sounds of the breathing, the squeeze and the breathing thing. And I watched this last episode 3 times since we had a little bit of extra time before recording. And the third time I watched it on my laptop and just plugged in my headphones and shut my eyes. And I was like, holy shit, to know that the only thing that goes to them is the dialogue. Everything else, all of those extra sounds get added. And I just whole new respect for what those people do. If you get a chance, Justin, listen to that interview with Brian Parker. We just released it last week. It's mind blowing.
Maybe not as mind blowing to you because you're in the industry, but to us,
No,
it
that's
was just
true.
really
Yeah.
fascinating to think
No,
about.
I do a lot of listening sometimes without watching.
Really?
Yeah, I do that as well. Yeah, because sometimes I also watch a show without the sound.
Oh,
Okay.
How truthful the acting is.
Yeah.
that's a good
Have you
idea.
ever done that?
No,
No.
and I think I'm going to. That's
Yeah.
very
Oh,
cool.
yeah. It's actors do this all the time because it's you just want to see like
The reaction,
the word organic, but like the truthfulness of the scene by
Yeah.
you tell exactly what's going on just through the eyes and the movements of the body and the mouth and the reactions.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Also, how many times have you watched the show and you hear a phone go off on the show and then you're like, oh, is that my phone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
I have
Honestly.
that old timey ring on my phone. So when on TV a phone rings and it's like, I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, nope, that's not me.
That I've done it so many times. Every time I hear a phone ping, and I'm like, is that? No, that's not
Yeah.
me.
Like, thank God it's not me. All right. So next up, we have patient Vince, who is played by Kevin Morgan. And I'm excited to say we have him scheduled for an interview. And is it next week, Mandy?
The 12th, is that next week? Week
Sure.
after next?
Week
It's
after
week
next.
after next, yeah.
Very excited about that. I had never heard of parkouring. Is that whatever
You
that
never
is?
watched The Office?
Is that what they were doing when they
Yes.
were running and jumping?
Yes.
Oh,
So stupid.
okay.
I'm sorry
It's
for all
dumb.
the parkour folk out there.
Oh, my son used to do it.
Seriously, did you not lose your mind?
I would be
Well,
so
he would
scared.
do it, yeah, because we have photographs of him actually running off of a flight of stairs
Oh my God.
that lead onto a sidewalk. So there'll be like, those, like in California, you've got a lot of craftsmen's.
Yeah.
And they'll have like 7 steps, because the house is elevated from the street. And he would run off the top step and do kind of like a sideways somersault.
And that didn't drive you insane?
Yeah, it would drive us crazy. But we'd only see like the pictures afterwards. Like,
Oh,
He wasn't like,
right.
hey, come watch me do this. He's like, look what I did.
yeah, no. But I used to take him to a parkour course indoor
Oh,
where the kids, it's all, it's padded and they've got the beams and the pads and the
they have that here.
and then they have like the thing you can climb up and yeah, it's really quite.
That seems a lot safer. The thing that I don't understand is what these two were doing. Like, just as a mom, my kids can tell you, like, there's a defining feature of me as a person is I don't like shenanigans. I don't like the Three Stooges, that show with the practical jokers.
Like Jackass.
Hated Jackass.
Knoxville.
Hated Jackass. And I was the only 19-year-old in the 90s going, those people are just going to end up breaking their necks and don't come crying to me. I was
Well.
born like a 90-year-old woman. I hate that kind of shit. If my kids had been into that, it would have driven me crazy.
I thought it was funny when he came in and the girls recording and Robbie's like basically telling her this is stupid. And she's like, it was almost an Olympic sport. And he's like, well, now we know why it wasn't. I was like, Robbie getting the one-liners in this season. I absolutely love it. But we get our Garcia sighting.
Yep. There's
Love when Metz comes on our screen, and man, does she have the sass. I love it when she looked at after they shooed the girlfriend or friend with the camera out, and she's like, well, I'd have let her stay if she asked nicely.
Yeah, she was definitely like kind of not hitting on that girl, but definitely like, hey, that's what that was all about. Was like,
oh, was it?
Yeah,
I thought
like,
she was
I'd
just...
let her stay if she'd asked nice. Yeah,
I liked when Robbie said, "Can someone get Spielberg out of here?"
That was funny. Garcia's a little bit of a lady rake. She's always looking out for the ladies.
What's a lady? You said a lady rake?
A lady rake. Yeah, like I guess you know the rake Bridgerton.
From Bridgerton.
Yeah, like the men who are just players. It's kind of like a player, basically.
Okay. Lady rake. All right. Good to know.
Garcia's always like, remember from the first season where she was real upfront about her feelings about Santos.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
I always forget about that, though.
She's got an eye.
Yeah.
She's not ashamed of it either.
Not at all. I wouldn't. I mean, I'm a happily married woman, but and my husband is a happily married man, but funny story. We went to Jamaica on our honeymoon.
You had it like right there, and then you're like, let me tell you another story.
Well, there was this lady laying on the beach by where we were having our dinner, and she was topless, and we both noticed it, but neither one said anything. And then for just a minute, he was like, is it wrong that I'm looking at her? And I was like, I think that's one of the most beautiful pairs of breasts I've ever seen. I'm looking too. So if it's wrong, we're both wrong.
And then she got up, she walked away, and you were both applauding as she walked away.
Like, yes. It's great.
Well done. Well done.
That's right. You got it. Flaunt it. Ogilvy and Joy. Oh my gosh. That was one of my favorite things of this episode. The way that they were sparking.
Yes, and sparring. But what I thought, the first thing that stood out for me was when Ogilvy was very cocky in this episode, which as we see, which happened in last season with these newbies, is that he's smart. I'm not saying the guy's not smart. I'm not saying he doesn't know what he's doing, but it's that cockiness that got him into trouble a little bit later. But when Robbie McKay says we need to intubate and he bumps into her, I have never seen McKay look at anybody other than her ex-husband that fierce. I was like, ooh, that was
she don't like
tension.
him.
No.
She's not a fan of Ogilvy. What about that ghoulish smile he got when what was the procedure that he was going to do that, like when they told him they had to do that, he got like this weird, creepy smile.
He looked, it was very first season Santos.
Yeah,
she was the exact same way. She was salivating at the thought of getting to do these procedures. And then he messes up by pulling that shard of glass out of that guy's back. And I loved Garcia's comment to him, leave it to the grown-ups. And then she's like, ambitious, reminds me of someone I know. And then the camera immediately switches over to Santos.
Yeah.
That was well done.
I just like Joy Kwan getting her licks in with him this episode. She was repeatedly said things about him being an asshole.
Or prick.
Yeah, he's such a prick.
She's got one line. Prick.
I bet she loved that. I was proud of her because she's kind of like been overwhelmed through a lot of this season. So it's good to see her get her spark.
Oh, when she nicked her finger.
Yeah.
That's when he looked all like...
Well, that was the second time. No, there was another time where it was like a procedure that he was going to do. But yes, he had a smirk on his face when she ended up hurting herself too.
Then she had to get the HIV test.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was happy that she fucked up.
Yeah.
I will say I like the way Ogilvy looked at Robbie and he was like, I'm sorry, it'll never happen again. And he means that. I truly believe, though cocky and a little bit ridiculous as he may be, he will never make that mistake again. And I also like that Robbie didn't like tear him apart, because what would be the joy in that, or what would help? That wouldn't be helpful
Right.
for a young student. But he was like, this is why we do what we do, and pats him on the back. So I will give Ogilvy credit that I think he handled it once it was all said and done, instead of trying to make excuses or just blow it off. He was like, I messed up and I'm sorry.
I'm surprised they don't have special gloves for when you're taking shrapnel or glass out of patients.
I wonder if that's one of the things that we talked about last week, that one of my best friends that I've known since I was 12 years old is a psychiatric nurse practitioner. Before she specialized in that, she did work in ERs and training hospitals, and she can't watch the show because she's the only person I've ever met in the medical field even that said that she feels like it's very inaccurate. I think that it's more along the lines of she is so on the spectrum that she needs it to be incredibly literal. I mean, it's a television show.
Right.
But I think that's one of those things that she would tell you that they probably do in real life have.
Yeah. I mean, if like I have a friend that works in labor and delivery, and she has a lot of things to say. Like, let's say
Critique.
a lot of critique, like in the first season. But in the first season, like just with the woman that came in and gave birth.
That's the one criticism I've seen fairly often.
That wouldn't have actually happened.
No, that would never have happened. She would have been thrown up into the labor and delivery department. It wouldn't have happened right there in the emergency room. But I don't even know, like now for hospitals, that they don't have special gloves for doctors or nurses to wear to take out, especially people that have shrapnel or broken glass, to take that out.
I would bet they do.
I mean, HIV test is probably like, one, it's the scariest thing, but you want to do everything you can to avoid that. And the one thing between you and a patient with shrapnel or glass is a thin latex glove. Come on.
Seems like they would have something better for people who are dealing with sharp
I don't know.
objects.
I'm going to
like
look that up and we'll put it in chart notes for next time.
Yeah, not just for the show. I just mean like in
real life. Yeah.
The life.
Yeah.
She delivered a baby, and all of a sudden everything just exploded out, like out of the woman's uterus or whatever, just thing. And a drop of blood landed in her eye, and she had to get like an HIV test.
Wow.
That it was scary. It was my fault. I did not wear goggles, but it was such an emergency situation. They had to go. Yeah.
It's just another way we remember these people are putting their lives on the line for us every day,
Yeah.
Emergency medical professionals are often in, I hate to overuse this phrase, but it's almost like battle time medicine sometimes when things get really, really bad. Yep. And you have to put yourself in harm's way sometimes to care for your patient.
I will say last note that I have on Joy, I was pissed when McKay asked her the question and Ogilvy answered for her. And Joy says, "Oh, I didn't realize your name was Joy. I'll have to tell my parents how trendy they were." And then the look that Robbie shot to McKay, those two were vibing off of Ogilvy and Joy's insanity. But man, I said it in the first episode that I didn't like Joy, but she's so growing on me. I can't wait to see where she ends up.
I like her. I think she reminds me of like any time a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. We've all had that coworker that's kind of a dick that you get, especially like you get in a training class with that asshole and you just happen to be linked because you're in the same training class and they're the, big mouth that has to overshadow everybody. And actually that kind of sounds like me too. I was
getting ready to say that is the two of us. For sure. Because, and I don't think we do it out of trying to show off. We just know what we know. And when we know something, we want everybody to know it, which is why we have a podcast where we just sit here and talk about television.
Right. And now you're all paying for it.
I'm a huge fan of anyone who comes off as like a curmudgeon. Like, I recognize Joy from someone back in high school. Her name was Jackie. And Jackie was not friendly. And for some reason, I was just gravitated to her like a golden retriever to a bag of food. I was just like, "What's going on? How you doing?" You know,
Man, Justin, I
oh,
vibed off guys like you when I was in high school and girls. I always was the curmudgeonly one, but it was
yeah,
like, and we're going to get into this with Santos hit because I'm going to be kind of hard on my girl Santos here in a bit. But I think that people like that are usually it's defenses that they
yeah.
are
It's a
putting up.
defense
It's
mechanism.
right.
Yeah.
And deep down, some of those people are the softest people at their core. You really have to have a thick skin to be able to get to their gushy marshmallow
I
center.
actually wound up making out with Jackie at the end of the year. So
Yeah. So it paid off. See?
Look at
yeah,
you teaching men everywhere how to.
Take your licks. Eventually it'll pay off.
Right. That is a valuable life lesson.
I don't know.
Yeah,
She's in Canada. I don't think she's gonna listen to this, so it's all good.
she'll
Besides,
never know. But
you
if you
know,
are listening, Jackie, please call us. We have questions. All right. So next up, we've got Dr. Mohan. And I made this a major point simply because I wanted to highlight, I wrote here in my notes, American healthcare sucks. And I'm curious, Justin, being a dual citizen and you living in Canada, what are your thoughts when you see something like this for a patient who can't qualify for this because they make too much, but they don't make enough or work enough hours to get insurance? And then we talked a little bit about it last week with the Hanson family sharing medication. And there's a lot of people in the United States who lower their doses either to share with a family member who needs it or to prolong it for themselves so that they can try to live longer. It's just,
That's how my father died. My father was type 1 diabetic and he couldn't afford his insulin and he was rationing it and
he
not
can't even
taking.
afford the test strips
Yeah.
to check his blood sugar to see if he's in it. I'm curious what your thoughts were on that whole section.
well, going back to Canada, yeah, healthcare is free, but it's not necessarily the best. And if you can afford it, you can get private healthcare as well. I'm not well versed in it because it's been like over 30 years since I lived there, but I just know that it's a bit of a shit show, but at the same time, it is free.
Yeah.
Here, got insurance companies that are charging so much, and medicine is so much, and yet the food that's available is so shit. It's like a trifecta of just like, where do you even begin?
Yeah.
And this one actually really pissed me off, like watching this episode. And I was surprised that they actually just started to address it just now in season 2, which I thought was pretty smart because
Of everything going on in the world.
there's
Yeah.
everything going on in the world, especially now.
Do you think this family is going to end up being undocumented?
You know, who knows?
Well, they said immigration was going to be part of the real life stories that they were going to tell this season. So I'm afraid
That as Mr. Diaz is going to, yeah. So yeah, no, to me, I have really no words except that I'm extremely saddened by it. I mean, it's highway robbery. There's no work, you know.
Yeah, I like that they pointed out that he had insurance and then they lost access to that and they're working several jobs and still can. And for their pains of working towards the American dream, they're being punished by not being able to afford health care.
And then Noelle Hastings is like, well, they can sign up for the Affordable Care Act, which, yes, that is available, but that's not cheap. Private insurance is,
Well, hell,
it's not
I mean,
cheap.
now, since the
Well,
filming of that, the Affordable Care Act has been completely blown up. So
yeah.
I have insurance through my job, but I have friends who have ACA and their premiums have gone up 200%.
We have very good health insurance through my work, but meeting the deductible to be able to get insurance to start paying for things,
Yeah.
it's like, and thank God, because one major injury and you're in a hospital and you've met that deductible. I don't want that. But
Right.
it's still also hard to want to go
just
to
get your
to
everyday
therapy and see a
healthcare,
therapist. But until I meet this deductible, I have to pay full price and I can't afford that. It's just, it's wrong. And it bothers me that the pharmaceutical companies and healthcare companies
Executives,
are
yeah.
making billion-dollar profits and people are literally dying because they cannot afford a life-saving pill. It sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not going to change for a long time.
No,
At least it's not going to change for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
So,
unfortunately.
Well, all we can hope is that enough people are sick and tired of it that will actually start showing up at the damn polls.
Polls to make some changes.
Yeah.
and too.
I don't want to hijack this whole show by getting on a soapbox, but I know it's very hard for all of us not to get bogged down in just the daily insanity of what we're looking at in our country. But one of the things that I have no patience for is prolonged whining about how nothing matters and there's no hope. It's insulting to everybody that's come before us that's had to work and fight really hard for social change in this country to achieve the things that we took for granted that are now being taken away from us. Those things didn't come without sacrifice from other people. And we live in a country that has so much freedom and we don't vote. We just don't show up. We have all this power and we don't use it. So get off the internet, quit crying about it, roll up your sleeves, get out and do some shit, volunteer, look for a place to make a difference in your community and fucking show up and vote.
Yep.
Yeah.
Off my rant.
Yeah. Although there's even that's a problem. Even that's becoming an issue.
Well, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because you go out to use your voice and
go back to year 2000 in Tallahassee and
the election there. Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. There's gerrymandering.
Yeah. It's just, it's really, really tough. I got nothing really to say about the insurance except that it's bullshit.
Yeah. Well,
It's just bullshit.
But I'm glad that this show, as we've said millions of times, uses current real life situations to highlight. Because, I think about when I was watching this, I think about somebody, it's become a very popular show. And I hope that there are people sitting there who have not been affected by something like this, see something like this unfolding and realize, oh my God, this is real life. And it does push them to get off their couches and to go vote and to go do something. So who knows? We hope. Let's hope.
Let's hope. Let's hope. Because
something's got to change.
We've got to change. It's bad.
There's that old phrase about, be careful how long you stare at the abyss, lest the abyss is staring back at you. I'm a really digging deep into stoicism to get me through the next several years. It's not to say that things aren't bad and couldn't get worse, but they're never going to get better if we give up that promise of a better day.
Yeah.
In my little county, oh man, I want to say the last 15 to 20 years, most of the local elections, we have not had one Democrat even running in those elections. We have 30 running in the ones that are coming up. The not little, but like the Democratic Party chili cook-off that I think last year they had like 20 people at. There were 600 people there last night.
Last night.
Yeah.
So it's growing.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
we are
That's
not
a
alone.
good sign.
When I feel overwhelmed with despair and feel like, am I crazy? Like who people, well, yes, I am. But I also need to remember that I am not alone in seeing the bullshit that's going on and that there are a lot more of us out there than it feels like sometimes that are trying to make a change.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of rolling up your sleeves and helping, I just want to say, Whitaker, I called it. In season 1, I don't know if they're doing it. I don't know if he's shacking up with her, but Whitaker
the farm lady
is tending to the farm lady somehow, some way.
I was so mad at Santos about that. I'm giving you your kudos. I think that's awesome. But I was so mad at my girl Santos. That is not your business, Santos.
No, and she doesn't need to be spreading his business to everybody else. But it was kind of funny as shit when she started talking about farm benefits and Shivani's
Have you seen the milking machine?
What's that? Then she said,
yeah.
Even in her snarky, bitchy self, Santos can make you laugh.
I can't help but to think that she might be into him.
That's what a lot of people are saying, but I don't see it.
I do. It's going back to Jackie. We're going back to Jackie.
Here's my thing about my girl. I think Santos has a learning disorder. I think that the charting thing is going to end up being that she has some kind of dyslexia or something along those lines that makes charting difficult for her. And she is feeling the pressure right now. And I think she's being a real bully to Whitaker.
Right.
Being a real bully to everybody. There wasn't one person in this episode that she was
You
kind to.
can feel her stress is ratcheting up.
Yeah. King actually says, try dictating. It's a lot easier. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, like Mel, it was very interesting to see the roles reversed between those two, where Mel is the calming presence. Because there was an episode last season where Mel was distracted, or earlier this season, where Mel was distracted because of her deposition, and Santos reels her in, and now it's the opposite. Because okay, but we'll get to Santos in a minute. I want to finish up Whitaker, Langdon, and Javati, but kudos to Whitaker, who gets the patient and Santos comes in and she's like, well, it's not a STEMI, move on. And Whitaker doesn't give up. He feels like something's wrong. Bless him, couldn't get the leads to stick. And the nurse is like, did you try using this? And he's like, oh, sorry. Right. But I loved that he got another win. It's nice to see him getting some win this season, but I am scared that these wins are setting him up for some catastrophic failure that's coming at the end of the season. And I just don't want that for him.
I feel like what's coming is he's going to end up going off on Santos.
Well, and I wouldn't be mad if he did, but I'm talking about something happening with a patient.
Yeah, gotcha.
Well, stop calling me Huckleberry.
Yeah, she called him Fuckleberry this time.
Fuckleberry. But yeah, he's gonna get that bass in his voice.
Like, yeah, I think they're about to drop.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Stop calling me Fuckleberry. It's like, where did that voice come in? Coming in all Barry White.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So next up, we have Louis Langdon. So Whitaker drains the tooth, and we get a very convenient explanation on. Yes, I know I will say the abscess was gross.
It's not that. It's that, like, I know that you and I have both had a lot of dental work done, and I've had 8 root canals, and it just, like, the shots in the mouth. It's the worst.
Sucks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you. Justin does not like dental stuff either.
That's the part where I'm jumping up and down, and I'm like, no, move on, let's go. Like, I'll start putting wordscape on my phone when it comes to anything excavating the inside of a skull.
It's hard to watch.
I'm out.
Yeah, but we do get a convenient explanation that Dr. Collins is in Oregon and is planning on adopting a baby. Good for her. And I think it's also
Robbie
very convenient. Yes. Did you not see his face? That man had no idea where Collins went or what's going on. His face said it all right there.
Yeah, I agree. What did you think, Justin? Did you notice that?
Oh, what was that part again?
When he was walking in and he heard Whitaker talking to Louis about where did Dr. Collins go, and he was saying that she moved up to Oregon, and you could see, like, Robbie's face. It looked like that was new news to him. Like, he was just finding that out.
I think I might have gone to the bathroom on that one.
You were looking, okay. I don't want to see this. Yeah.
Well, it's after all of that.
Was it after Louis? Yeah.
Well, it was when he was talking to Louis, and they were doing the procedure on his mouth, so you were probably turned away.
I'm telling you, like, I would take my kids to the dentist, and they would say, do you want to sit in the room? And I'll be like, no. I'm good. Or if my kids have to get a shot, and my kids laugh, and I just, my hands are waving. I'm out. So I probably part with,
Well, I think I'm with Becky. I think it was new news to him. I don't think he knew that was where Collins was at, and I think he was shocked when he heard that she was adopting a baby.
But I say good for her.
Me too.
Go live your life, Collins. You've earned it. But what I thought was really sad about this is how bad the withdrawals are getting hour by hour with Louis, and it breaks my heart for him. But I thought it was really sweet for Langdon to come back there and check on him. But what I didn't like is how scared Langdon looked when Robbie and Dr. Al were walking by, and Robbie saw him in there talking to Louis, not in triage, that he was back in the emergency department.
I didn't notice that.
That was sad. That made me sad. I was like, bro, come on, Robbie. It bothered me. But then we get that moment with Dr. Al, who's like, I want you to finish what you're doing in triage and come work with us. So they're going to be forced together. So something is going to happen there.
Right.
But then we get Eyelash Girl. And Justin, I don't know if you know this, but the girl who had her eye glued together is actually Patrick Ball's real life girlfriend.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Makes me laugh because she can't stand Layton.
She can. And like, it's funny though. It was hilarious because he's telling her everything.
It's basically the same stuff that Giovanni's telling her. And she's like, I don't want to hear this from you.
Yeah. And it was cute that we did get confirmation that Dr. J is Dr. Giovanni, and Giovanni looked horrified. And it was a good, humbling experience for Langdon too, I think, amidst everything that he's going on. But she's like, I loved your podcast or your TikTok or whatever on coping with difficult coworkers. And Langdon's like, yeah, I'm going to have to check that one out.
Yeah. How many followers do you have? More than you can count or something like that.
I think it's a race against time to see whether it's Giovanni or Whitaker or both that's going to go off on Santos.
If I had to place a bet,
Whitaker.
I'm gonna say Whitaker because Giovanni she's growing, but she's still a bit timid, and
in real life, she's like a kitten. She'll swipe at you, but then she withdraws.
Right, no claws are out.
Yeah.
Mel, I think, is just too distracted with everything else, and God love her, she's aloof.
I just think she's too kind.
But I think Whitaker, because they live together and he's taking shit at home and now he's taking shit at work. She's airing his business and she's calling him rude ass nicknames. So I think I'm with you, Justin. I think it's going to be Whitaker that snaps.
Who did you think, Mandy? Who did you thought King is too aloof?
I don't think she's aloof. I think that King is she's very kind. I don't think that it's in her nature to have that kind of anger. I think she sees Santos pretty clearly. Well,
she mentioned in the first episode, I think she was given that soliloquy about how Santos was bullying her, but Santos had already got up and left and missed it. So
yes,
I said aloof, and maybe that wasn't the right word.
No, I think it just she doesn't take it as personally. I think that to her, Santos she's got more, I don't know if maternalistic is the right word. I don't think it is at all the right word, but I just don't think that she has the same, I don't think that she has the same competitive feeling towards Santos that Giovanni does.
Right. Yeah. As between King and Robbie, that's the one thing where normally people would lose their cool or lose their shit. Like the kid that had the list of girls that he was going to harm, and just Robbie's approach to how to handle that. Whereas Fiona or Dr. McKay, she was ready to go in there and like, let's just put it this way: if the pit was set in like Compton, that little white boy would have gotten his ass kicked somehow or another by some doctor. They would have slapped the shit out of him and be like, you need to learn something. And if you don't change, you're going to get these hands. But it was Robbie who was just like, there's a bigger picture to this. And, even like with Dr. King, she's like, there's a bigger picture. There's this girl is bulimic. You just got to look behind the veil.
Right.
This kid is he's a ping pong player. You got to look beyond the veil. He's he's autistic.
There's an empathy there.
There's an empathy there. So Whitaker is probably going to lose his shit, although he's probably going to like pull back a little bit. But King, it would be very interesting to see King do it.
I would love that,
because that would just be like the complete opposite of what everybody's thinking.
I just feel like that she could devastate a Santos if she wanted to at any time, but I just can't imagine her doing it from a place of anger. I feel like if she did, it would be from
an
academic place. Like I'm trying to think of a parallel, and because I do see a lot of myself in Santos, and I know that a lot of my really abrasive self a lot of that came from a place of, first of all, in my family, snark is the language that we communicate in. We are just a snark. My mom's favorite character is Santos because she reminds her of a bro. Like, we are very competitive. We're very cutthroat kind of in the way that we talk to each other is not always kind. It's very rarely kind. And I think there's a lot of kind of trauma in Santos's background. And I think Whitaker sees that, or excuse me, King sees that. And I don't think if she felt like she had to reckon with Santos, she would do it from a devastating place of maturity that would make her feel worse than any screaming match ever could. And
Right.
I think I see that like a lot of the women that I had to grow up and what helped me to mature and to get a bit better and kinder in the way that I talk to people were finding especially strong female mentors in my work life who they didn't see me as a threat. They saw me as kind of a sad little kid, man, you could do so much better. Like, you could, the ones that were disappointed in me, like, that had a much stronger effect on me than anybody that was sparking against me when I was being a shithead, if that makes sense.
Right. Yep.
So we get another mention of Javati's birthday party. Come on, Princess and Perla, don't let me down. I want to see a 21st birthday party for the ages. And then last note under this group is Debbie, the waitress, comes back and her infection has way spread outside the line. And this is where the episode ends and we go to black, that it could be MRSA or something worse. So I expect that to highly escalate.
Yeah.
In the next couple of hours. Yeah.
MRSA contagious?
Very highly.
Oh, it's bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Hospitals are constantly battling against MRSA.
Like, it would be quarantine. She would be quarantined. It would not be good if it was MRSA at all.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a big part of the next several episodes.
Yeah. All right. So anything else on the main points, or are y'all ready to move into chart notes?
No, I'm good.
Justin?
Chart notes. Let's go.
So first up, we have Jackson Davis, the young college kid. We really don't have any more. He's still a mystery. But what I thought was funny, it was nice that his sister came and kind of gave some insight that that's not his normal behavior. So there's a lot of things that could be going wrong, but so far all the tests are coming back negative. But it made me laugh.
I think it's a hazing. Go ahead. Sorry. I shouldn't have butt in.
It's quite possible.
The statutes that he was reading out have to do with hazing.
But isn't he a law student?
Yeah, I believe so. But that doesn't mean he's not in Greek life. I don't know.
No, but it made me think that if he's having a mental episode and he's shouting codes and whatnot, that could be part of his studies, and that's just what the way his brain is working at that point.
Yeah.
But what I thought was hilarious was that Javati called Psych down and the kid wasn't even awake. So
yeah, there was a lot of error in this episode. There was. Yeah. If the theme of last episode was love, the theme of this episode is everybody be fucking up.
Yeah. All right, next one is Harlow and Donnie. Mandy, you put this one in here, so
I just thought that moment where she was communicating through her translator and she told Donnie, hey, you can speak directly to me. I've had to have that lesson before. And I loved that. I love that they included that in this season. I think that's a good reminder for all of us when you're speaking with someone who's deaf, that if they're having to communicate through a translator, they would still prefer that you actually look at them and address them. The translator is just there as a tool for them to help them communicate.
Right. Respect that person. Look them in the eye. That's who you're talking to.
Have you both ever had that experience where someone...
Yes.
Yeah. So have I.
Yeah, where I've been in the wrong, where I was the person that was not addressing the deaf person, and they had to call me out on it and tell me, hey, you can look at me.
Oh, I just mean like when somebody is just like, you're talking to someone and then that person just talks to the other person.
Oh, I have had that for sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine like as a woman, that happens often.
Oh, yes.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. Yes.
I'm thinking of the general. I'm not talking about someone with ASL. Did that happen with you with someone with ASL? Like not with ASL, but doing ASL with a deaf person or?
Yeah, first, as a woman, yes, you are 100% correct. There are many times in life where, especially if you're dealing with like car care or something like that, where they will
I
speak
was just gonna
completely
say
over
that.
you and
Yeah.
talk to your husband. Which, oh man, I could go on for about 2 hours about the guy that we have a handyman that would work on our cars forever, and he just refused to acknowledge that I might have a brain and
Right.
would only communicate with my husband. But yes, I have done that where I was speaking with an interpreter and I was looking at and focusing, and it wasn't intentional. It wasn't that I didn't understand that that was a complete human being. It was just, and I even had deaf friends as children that, I learned a little bit of ASL, but in a professional capacity, you're just trying to like get through to the next moment. And so you're just focusing on, okay, this is the person that's talking to me right now. And you don't
Yeah.
realize how insulting that is to the hearing impaired person.
I'm
Yeah.
glad they did it. And I like that they chose Donnie to do it with. I think that
Because he's
was
like the greatest guy. He would never intentionally hurt anybody.
right. Because if it had been Santos, you might just be like, well, she's just an asshole. That's who she is. But
Right.
making the choice that be Donnie, knowing that Donnie is just an angel and genuinely cares for his patients, I think it was a more impactful punch. All right. So next up, Mel and Santos. Main things I want to touch. I liked that Mel did realize that she was being hit on.
I know. I was shocked.
It was so funny. She's like, he was a criminal, but still, I just loved that. I was like, the way she portrays Mel is just chef's
It's a great
kiss,
character.
genius, and I absolutely adore her. But what I liked the most about the Mel side of this is that because she's so smart, knowledge, and so observant, which I think is a big part of her neurodivergence, that they do see things through a clearer lens than a lot of us would see things. And that she clocked that this young lady had bulimia, that the way she talked to her about it, and Santos did do a good job of asking those probing questions to get her to that point.
Well, once Mel led her there.
Yeah. But what I loved is that when Mel is talking to her and telling her, after Santos says, this will destroy your body. And Mel's like, we do have a program here. And once the lady knows it's not like she's not having to be admitted. And I loved this question that Mel said, is there a particular type of therapist that you would like to talk to? Because when I decided to go to therapy and I called our employee hotline, one of the best questions that I was asked is there someone particular that you're looking to? And I said, I just want them to be female, older than me, and have some type of spiritual belief. Don't care what the religion is. I need them to have that belief. So loved that. And then Mel educating us, the audience, and Santos, that bulimia often goes misdiagnosed in the African American community. I just loved all of that. It was so freaking great.
That just opens up. That's a whole other that's a whole other season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fight of the Black woman in the healthcare system.
Oh my God. Yes.
My daughter was born at 27 weeks, premature.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because she is a phenomenon now.
Yeah, she's 5'9" and she's a beast. And when she plays soccer, she looks like an adult amongst children.
Yeah.
But when she was born, I remember it was the cutest nurse who just looked at me and just said, she was so sweet. She just looked at me with her eyes and she said, she's going to do okay. She's going to do okay because she's part African American. And I was like, word? I was like, all right, cool. And it turns out that African American women being born are the strongest, apparently, out of the whole species.
You mean like as far as like survival of like a preemies, things like that?
Yeah.
That's funny that you say that. That's interesting. I found out this week that there is a phenomenon called wimpy white male, which that apparently that can be controversial. They shy away from that now. But
Sure.
White male infants that are born premature are actually the most likely to not make it.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Black women are the first to go.
Yeah.
When it comes to the healthcare system,
Yeah.
Black are the first to go. The strongest to come out of the blocks, but they don't always finish the race. And that has a lot to do with, and also, of course, if you look at the history of Black women and
Right.
Black women have to endure, and, you can go all the way back to like 400 years ago when slaves, and they were used for every ounce of their body, whether it was fields, whether it was even for nursing sick white children and all that. Black women have always been like the brunt of America.
They've been the pillar holding us up.
Pillar holding up America is the Black
but the
woman.
least listened to,
The least cared for.
And they do this every once in a while. Like, let's say, because my buddy Paul Maybaum was the son of the father who used to be part of the EMTs back before the whole Black coalition of EMTs.
Right.
That used to like help people sick. And that whole history has been wiped clear. And now that they touched on this, when I saw that, I was like, there needs to be more on that. And I love little stories. It's just like how disenfranchised Black folk and Black history, how it's completely erased from history.
You're right.
Or is not brought to the forefront of like serious cases. Like, this is what's really happening. And so, Black women, nobody really cares what Black women are, how they're eating and how they're feeling and how they're treated.
Well, I just experienced this with my mom. We grew up in a very small, predominantly white town, and my mom still lives here.
Famously racist white town.
Yeah. And she has a primary care physician, and she has been complaining of pains and things for years. And he brushes it off as, oh, it's just this, or oh, it's just that, or oh, it's just this. And finally, it got bad enough that a different specialist sent her for a CT scan to discover that she has a terminal illness, and that her oncologist said that this has been growing for years.
Yep.
And she was a nurse.
And she knows what she's talking about. But anytime she'd open her mouth to say, no, I don't think something's right, he would just, oh, sweetheart, oh, honey, no, it's this or it's that. And so her oncologist is like, this has probably been here for years. And if he'd have just listened to her, we might be in a completely different place today. So it sucks.
And I don't know, Becky doesn't, I'm sure, want to get too far into this, but there was a situation just within the past week where her mother was forced to take a procedure because 3 nurses refused to listen to her when an unnecessary procedure.
I'm 5 hours away in Nashville, and I get a call at 5 o'clock in the morning. This is right before that big ice storm hit that still has a lot of people in Nashville without power. And the lady's like, your mom is having a stroke. And so I get in the car, I throw a bunch of clothes into a suitcase, and I get in a car and I drive here. And when I called on the way to talk to my niece who is here helping care for my mom, and I talked to my mom, and she was mad. She was really, really mad. And I thought she was mad at me because she was very snappy at me, but I now understand we tend to lash out at those we know who will forgive us. And then I got it. I understood what she was saying. They wouldn't listen to her. There's a medication that she doesn't like to take because it makes her brain fog. She doesn't know where she's at. And I talked to her the day before, and I was very concerned because she didn't know where she was. She didn't know she was in the hospital, and I had to keep explaining it to her. And then come to find out that what she was saying no to is that they wanted to give her this medicine again. They already given it to, she's like, no, I don't want it. And they weren't listening to her. So she shut down, and they assumed she was having a stroke and held her down and forced her to have a CT scan. It's just not right. It's just.
And then before they got anything back, called Becky 5 hours away in the middle of a storm to say your mother had a stroke. Just,
Anyway, yeah, this is people out there, advocate for yourselves. Don't stop advocating for yourselves. If you know your body better than anybody, You keep going until you find someone who listens but back to your point, yes, it is you could have an entire season on what it's like to be, especially a Black person, but especially a Black woman trying to get good health care. It sucks, especially in the maternity sense, that how many Black women lose babies because doctors just don't want to listen.
Yeah. I mean, we just figured it out for actors to have Black barbers for Black actors.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Black beauticians,
Makeup
black
artists.
hair.
makeup artists for actors, both male and female.
Black photographers who know how to.
That just happened. Yeah. You know,
Crazy.
that just happened. That just happened.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Got a long way to go.
When I did the show, I had Black people doing my makeup and hair. And I was like, where have you been?
Yeah.
Because I can't tell you how many jobs I did where they just spray painted something and I came out looking like a caramel chew.
Sorry.
A glossy caramel chew.
Oh
my God.
Oh man. I mean, like Amy Leibovitz, who is, I'm not any kind of like a photography stan, but like Amy Leibovitz, who everybody knows, God love that woman. She cannot photograph Black people, Black skin without it looking like a crime scene photo or something like that. And she's one of the best photographers in the world.
Yeah.
That's a real problem.
Yeah. Or we need more Ryan Cooglers out there.
Amen.
Hell yeah.
Oh man, that's a whole nother episode. We can't go because you know who best says ambulance? Ryan Coogler.
You guys say it exactly alike.
I bet we do. I know I say it like Kendrick does, and I bet I could listen to Ryan Coogler talk all day long. I love his accent.
Oh yeah. I try to talk like him when I was watching it, and I can't do it.
Yes, it makes you want to like start. Yes, which
try
old Pasty White here shouldn't be doing that.
No,
at all,
you
but
do not.
Yes. I love it, man.
Thanks.
I love it. I hope he sweeps the Oscars. Anyway, all right, we got to move ahead.
We got to get to the finger in the butt. Come on, let's go.
All right, we're not almost there. First, we have to get to I kind of skipped over it a little bit, but so Mandy touched on it earlier, but Santos is very distracted. Dr. Al is on her for her charting, and it really threw her for a loop. And I thought that seems like a really odd thing for her to be focusing on. But if you look at last episode where she misdiagnosed that little girl, and I think why she was so pissed at Whitaker is because that was her patient. She gave up saying that no, he wasn't having a STEMI, but Whitaker got it right to push for the extra. And then Mel correctly diagnosing this woman. I think she's getting a taste of the fact that she walked in last season like, I am top dog. She talked about it in episode 1 or 2 where she wants to double in surgery and emergency medicine. I think Santos is realizing, not that she's not great at what she does, but I think she's realizing she is not exactly where she thought she was. And this season is going to be very humbling for her so far.
I think it's because she has a learning disorder.
And maybe she does.
Specifically about charting. Like she is having to do her notes and she finds it much more difficult than everybody else does. And it's stressing her the fuck out. And she doesn't realize or doesn't want to admit that she has a learning disability that makes charting difficult for her. And she's having to spend far more time on it than everybody else is. And for that reason, she's starting to see that she's missing out. She's feeling the pressure.
Yeah, but that didn't come up last. I don't discount your thought that there's something there that specifically with the charting, but it's not just the charting that is bothering her. It's bothering her that these other doctors that she looked down upon last season are, and I hate to say one-upping because they're not trying to one-up her.
But that's how she sees it.
But she's and she's not quote unquote winning this right now. That's what I'm talking about.
I see what you're saying. I just think that the way that I have viewed it is that it's specifically the pressure she's feeling is because she wants to be spending all of her time with patients and chasing the next, whatever. She doesn't want to be doing this paperwork, that it's because paperwork takes her longer than it does anybody else. And she resents it. And she's trying to like mask all of that. And it's building up this frustration and anxiety in her.
There's people that, are either really good with the academic side of it, just like you're saying, and the practical.
Yeah.
There's cops out there that are really good at running, jumping, shooting, doing all the physical stuff, and Santos is very much the same. She's instinctively, I think, a phenomenal doctor.
Yeah.
Going back to what you're saying, like she'll throw in a stent somewhere and, she'll relieve an airway and get blood extracted so that the blood is out of the lungs or whatever. But going back to what you were saying, I think she does have a problem with the paperwork, which is why Dr. King was just like, yeah, you're better off dictating. It makes it go a whole lot faster. It's those little breadcrumbs of just information, just saying
that they're laying out there. And Becky, you could be right. It may just be an overall, just her coming to terms with the fact that she's not as much of a hot shot as she thought she was. But I just get the feeling that it's specifically about the paperwork issue.
Yeah, I would see it as both of us are right. I think that is the problem, adding to the rest of the problem, but I don't think it's solely her having a difficulty with charting that's bothering her.
We'll see.
I think there's more to it, that she's realizing her shit does stink, basically.
Well, either way, she's got a smackdown coming to her, and I love my girl, but she deserves it 100%. Whatever is coming, she deserves it because she's being really shitty to people right now.
Yeah. All right. So I only have one quick thing here just to say, I love Emma, and I think I'm going to have to just say something about her every episode, but I love her little adorableness, being so scared to give the stick. And I love hearing my mom, my mom, it wasn't, she's retired now, but she was an RN for many years. And that woman could stick you and you would never feel it. And it was one of the nurses that we went to, she went to have a port put in, and one of her nurses was a nurse that she trained when she was at the VA. There were tears and laughter that day. It was just beautiful. But she was talking about how mom helped her learn to find veins and give IVs. So anyway, I just love Emma. Seeing Emma makes me think a lot of my mom and how great of a nurse she was. And I love Dana coaching her, and then she gets the blood drawn, and then bless her heart, she just drops it. And Dana's just like,
very patient.
Can we get environmental over here? Dana's just so everybody was called.
She's seen it.
I thought, poor sweet Emma, I just thought that was cute.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. Finger in a butt.
That was so gross.
It was amazing.
So I have had a crack in my coccyx.
Did they do that procedure?
Wait,
oh God, no.
Let's start this again. Go ahead, Mandy. What were you saying?
I have had a crack in my coccyx. Like coccyx. I've had one before, and it hurts like a son of a bitch. And no one ever offered to put their finger in my butt and give me relief. If I had known that was an option, I might have thrown that out there.
Hey, yeah.
But I felt him, like when she was screaming, because it hurts so damn bad. Like I felt that in my soul. But I think
I got up from my couch.
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed romantically, though. There, big guy.
Oh, and he was like, "Can I have a hug?" And she's like, "Not right now." And she takes off running out of the room.
What was the actual actor's name?
Michael Nori.
That's it.
Wait, Michael.
Have you ever worked with him before, Justin?
No, I haven't, but I just feel like
you've seen him. That's what I said the last time too.
I know him from New York. I know him from my days back in New York.
Well, he was real big on He was on Yellowstone recently.
How do you spell his last name?
N is in Nancy, Ouri.
Yeah.
He just looks really familiar.
I think I know him because
The Watcher. That's what I'm thinking. He was on Yellowstone, but did either of y'all watch The Watcher about the weird stalker family moves into this house?
Yeah. It had Nicole Kidman in it. Is it Nicole Kidman or
no, Naomi Watts.
That was it.
Yeah, that was a really, really good show.
Yeah, it was good. That's a true story. It's very freaky.
I feel like I know him.
Yeah, I went through the same thing last episode. I was like, man, I don't know if I mean, I'm not an actor, but so I don't know him personally, but I feel like I've seen him in like a million things.
Yeah.
So then McKay goes and checks out the ankle guy and tells him that he's going to be all right. And he hits on her again. And initially she walks away and then she turns around and comes back. And I was like, yeah, get you some, girl.
I wrote here in my notes, A.D.O.R.A.B.L.E. Loved it. Adorable.
Girl, you know they ain't staying at that art gallery.
They better not be. Justin, Mandy, and I talked last episode that we want this episode to end with McKay getting boned by that hot dude in a closet or something somewhere.
Oh, the soccer player?
Yes, the soccer player. Poor McKay. They got her looking like she's just been rode hard and hung up wet this whole season. She's out there
tired, man.
She's tired.
She just wants something.
She just needs something, girl. Something.
She said in episode 1, I need to get laid. And I'm like, you get it.
Is it too early in the morning to talk about that? No.
Yeah. It's never too early in the morning to talk about that.
Mohan was a little prudy about all that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's the best time. Especially with Michael Nouri. I mean,
I think that ship sailed. I mean, again, once you've got the finger up the butthole before the first date, I just don't think that there's really anywhere to go from there.
Yeah, and not even in a sexy time, fun.
You feel like that's the beginning of the best date.
Oh, yeah. That's always the best way to start off a conversation, you know.
Remember when I had my finger in your butt?
Good morning. Wait. Hold on a second. I think we got to do some readjusting. Hold on, Michael.
Oh, my God. That's amazing. All right. So that is all I have on notes for the episode. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we move into final thoughts?
Nope.
Well, final thoughts for me. This is a yay. There's a lot of people complaining that this is moving too slow as compared to all of the super heavy dramatic storylines we had last season. I like this slow build because, as Mandy and I have discussed a million times, shit's going to hit the fan in the next few hours, and we're going to wish for these lighter, slower moving episodes. So I'm happy with what they're doing. And I think there was a lot of important character development, but also important real world issues brought up in this episode that needed to be said and that need to be heard. So I'm going to give this 4.75 fingers in a butt out of 5.
Oh my, you stole my rating. Yes, we think too much alike. We gotta
I'm right with you on that 4.75.
So I was going to go fingers in the butt today.
We're all fingers in the butt. I will say, though, I was going to go more of a 4. I do think, and honestly, I don't even know that that's fair, though, because again, it's like, I think it's a little bit crazy that people are saying that this movie is slow because I think those people have forgotten what the first few episodes of the last season were like. I think they're just remembering the high of the Pitt Fest and all of that towards the end. I don't really think it's remarkably different as far as the buildup goes this season over last season.
I think the cases were
maybe more dramatic.
Well, yeah, because we start off with the gentleman who OD'd, and then that whole thing Robbie working up to his patients, and then I feel like the patients coming in last season were more intense.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, either way, I just think that this was a building episode, though. I don't feel like, there was a bit of a lack of like super dramatic anything going on, but I don't even really hate that. I give it a 4 just because my experience of the episode as opposed to other episodes was like a 4-ish on the.
That's fair.
5 meter, but I don't even know that that's fair because I think that if you look at it as a whole at the end of the season, it's just going to fit into the tapestry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're building something here.
I agree. So yours is a 4 out of 5?
Yeah.
4 butt fingers.
Yeah, 4 butt fingers out of 5.
Not even a 4, 6, 7.
No.
Anyways, yeah, I give it like a 4.75. I do appreciate the slower pace. I don't think you should have to keep your foot on the pedal where it feels like you're like whipping around a track for season 2 straight out of the gates. I mean,
It's not sustainable.
No.
it's not sustainable. I mean, at some point, there's going to be kittens with laser beams coming out of their eyes. Where are you going to take it?
Right.
And it's just like, it can't always be anxiety ridden. And, the one thing I was thinking about, it was just like, and I hope he doesn't, but if Noah Wiley was to go on Saturday Night Live and they were to do a reenactment of the Pit, and if the Pit stayed with their foot on the pedal after the last episode in season 1 and continued on through doing the same thing, I mean, it would be a bit of a joke where it's just like every episode would just be like chaos,
Super
and
dramatic. Yeah.
Now and so much blood, and it's just like, yeah,
Which is kind of counterintuitive to what they're trying to accomplish from everything
Right.
that I know about their intentions with this show.
And this is set up to look like a real day in an emergency department. And it isn't always
going to be
massive traumas and whatnot. It does move at different paces at different times throughout the day. So I'm here for it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love everything they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you guys something. What do you think they haven't touched on yet that they will be writing about?
Immigration.
But yeah, I think immigration's
Immigration is one, especially when it comes to insurance.
Yeah, and I think that they are going to also, something that Dr. Al is going to run head on into is the grid's gonna go down. They're gonna have to go offline, and she's gonna have to give up some of her tightly controlled ideas about charting and using AI and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's mostly what they're building to.
What do you think, Justin?
I don't know. I don't know. I just thought I'd throw the question out there.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are the experts.
Like, do we think there's going to be a pit fest this season? I don't think so. I think
No.
yeah.
I think whatever happens, it's going to be internal.
Right. What's the TV show with Viola Davis? Not
How
Viola
to Get Away
Davis.
with Murder.
Is it Viola Davis? Is like, I don't really watch a lot of TV. That's why. But it's the one 911.
Oh, yeah.
Viola
Oh, my
Davis
God.
is
They
on
went
there?
into space. They lost me.
No, it's Angela Bassett.
Angela
Yeah,
Bassett.
that's a like
that's-
Angela Bassett.
That's
yeah.
911, and I really used to love
yeah.
that show. But man, they are reaching
jumped the
because they
shark.
put them in space this
They're
last
jumping sharks.
season.
That's the kittens with the laser
Yeah.
beams coming up.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, they have a 911 Nashville, and I don't
It's
watch it, but everybody
horrible.
here just clowns it. They're like, it is
Horrible.
so ridiculous. It's
I watched the first
not at all.
episode, and I was like, "Yeah, this is it." The only one I really liked that they ended, of course, was 911 Lone Star with Rob Lowe.
Oh no, Rob Lowe's out of a job.
That one was good. Oh, not for long. Don't worry. He's like Ryan Seacrest. He'll find his thing. All right. So a couple of misdiagnoses that I have to humble myself and admit to, but I would like to remind everyone how right I was about Whitaker and his farm lady. So Robbie did not. I already lost the bet that I started last week that Robbie did not say he should have left last night in this episode. And in episode 2, I predicted that the big thing was going to be a bus crash with the.
But we still don't know.
Well, she made it. The
Who?
mom who was on the bus that I said I think was going to crash.
Oh yeah.
He made
yeah.
it. So
Okay, gotcha.
I was wrong. It's happened once in 2026. It usually only happens
All these
once
years,
a year.
finally,
So
just
I
one
think,
time.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think we're there.
I had to tell my husband he was right about something yesterday. It was painful.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Humility,
wow.
man. I learned a lot about
This on
humility.
there? Wow.
What'd you say, Justin?
Can you keep this? Can you keep this part?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep
I
it
mean,
in.
Yeah, Eric.
Just like, you want to build a male audience? Yeah.
It was
I
painful.
told my husband
Yes.
that I was wrong. Did you apologize?
No, but I did
Oh,
say, you're right. I'm wrong. Take
oh,
this, hold it to your heart. And in
wow.
20, we've been together since 1997. It had to happen one time. I mean,
Wow. It had to happen.
yeah.
My husband gets one once a year.
Yeah, he gets one once a year. Yeah.
I give him too much, and then he's got too much, and then, it gets the
Yeah,
They
big
give
head.
him
gotta
an
put it back.
inch, they walk all over you.
Right.
Yeah. Then you got to put him back in his place. And
Exactly.
get back in the corner.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not good for anybody.
All right. Well, let's move on into feedback. We did get some good feedback this week. So we'll start off with an email that we got from our What's On Tonight email. And I want to shout out, this is Nathan Eshelman. Nathan Eshelman, known for quite a while through the Podcastica Network. And he listens to us, but he's only, I think it's like the second time he sent in feedback. So hi, Nathan. Thank you
Hi,
for
Nathan.
listening. I'm so glad that you're with us. And here's what he had to say about the episode. I feel the same. Oh my God. Sorry, this is funny. I feel the same way about Fiona Dorff as Becky feels about Noah Wiley. So I must admit, when Dr. McKay asked that guy out, even though she's a fictional character, I was a little jealous. I get you, Nathan. And he says, if y'all ever get Fiona on the pod, I'm showing up on a video chat wearing a suit with some flowers. I'll tell you that right now. Nathan, you have my word. If we ever get a chance to have Fiona on the show, you are more than welcome to come in your suit and flowers. That's so cute. But he says, great to have you both back for season 2. And Mandy, I really enjoyed the Mary Shelley episode of Dinner for Her. Keep them coming. Awesome, Nathan.
Aw, thanks, Nathan.
Thank you.
With just the world, and I've got some stuff going on in my personal life that's taken up quite a bit of my personal time. So I've had to put Dinner for Her on the back burner for the last couple of months, but I'm definitely coming back in March. So I really
Awesome.
appreciate you listening. When I read that in our notes, that really made my entire day, Nathan. Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and there will be more to come.
And double date me, you, Fiona, and Noah.
I will film that for you guys.
Thank you.
Via our What's On Tonight feedback post, Diane Peters wrote, love this. Great show, with a little smiley face
Thank you,
emoji.
Diane.
Thanks, Diane.
Diane Leary wrote, excellent show. I love watching the podcast after the show. Thank you, Diane.
And via the Pitt Fans fan page, Terry Rye wrote, I really enjoy the podcast.
Oh,
Thanks,
cool.
Terry.
Thanks,
That's
Terry, for listening.
Oh, thanks, Terry.
It's an interesting way to spell
Do you show the
Terry.
video? Do you show the video while you guys are?
No. We only record audio, but when you
Okay.
post it on YouTube and you hit play, you just see the episode photo and whatnot. But yeah, we haven't.
No one can see with my finger up my nose.
Right. Nobody can see that Justin is currently having
Picking
a
his nose.
finger in his butt.
Yeah.
Just cracking the old coccyx. Huh? Gotta get that sacroiliac coccyx.
Oh.
God, we are ridiculous.
You know, it's a funny thing. It reminds me of the time where my first dog that I ever had here in Los Angeles was a pit bull. And my roommate at the time said, Justin, he was German, is the only way you can get a pit bull to release his jaw is if you put your finger up his ashlock and pull.
How
Did
many
you?
dog assholes has that man been fingering?
How many? I don't know. Germans and assholes.
It's a whole thing. Oh my God.
whole thing.
Don't
It's a whole thing.
tell them that. Like,
So I took my dog to the park, and sure enough, there was another dog that attacked him, and so he bit back, and I had to grab my dog by the tail and put my finger in his butt. But the thing is that I forgot to make the hook.
okay, so you were just pokey.
So basically, I went in, I pulled out.
You were just
everyone was
massaging
like,
his-
Oh my God, this guy's shoving his finger up his dog's ass. And then there was a thought bubble. And then I remember Bernard, that was my roommate, Bernard Gunter. He said, don't forget, you have to make the hook. So I had to grab my dog by the tail, and everyone's screaming, "Oh my God, he's going to do it again!" And I put my finger in, and I made the hook, and my dog Slim sang like Liberace. He was like, "I've got a feeling." He let go, and everybody left the park, and I was standing there like Dr. McKay with just a finger.
Just one finger.
Standing there. And when I saw that scene, I was like, I so remember that scene.
Oh
I
my
remember
God.
that was me. And you're just standing there, and you're in a dog park. There's nothing nobody's coming to you with like a paper towel or a wet one.
Oh man.
Dog pooped my finger, and yeah, I excavated my poor pups. He never looked at me the same again. And
I have a
rightly
pug
so.
and I have to regularly express his anal glands, and that's my job in this household. And now every time I do that, I'm going to be picturing you fingering your dog's.
Isn't that amazing? Like here in America, we take a French bulldog and we have to wipe that French bulldog's ass every time it takes a shit.
It really says something
And
humbling.
Americans love French bulldogs.
You're right.
Historically, to me, that's hilarious.
Yeah, they've gotten their revenge on us. Oh God.
And
Oh.
that,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, was butt talk. Stay tuned next week. We've had penis talk, and now we've had butt talk. I can't wait to see what next week. Oh God. So via email, who is actually EM, who is actually going to come on and do an episode with us later this season. This is her first time writing in for feedback, and she said, one thing I enjoyed this episode is it showed people making some mistakes, in parentheses, some of more danger than others, but from attendings and senior residents missing the parkour man with the glass in his back, Langdon possibly missing the worse than MRSA, Emma dropping Joy's blood sample, Santos missing what Whitaker caught, and of course, Ogilvy's big pain in the glass move. That was funny.
Good.
It was interesting to see how mistakes or misses were handled. I was happy to see Al Hashimi join the gang on betting, same, but the low-key flirting with Robbie was a little awkward. I like seeing them get along better. I don't think the show will go there with a hookup or dating with them, but I thought the flirt vibes were not hot. Let's just leave it at that. Loved seeing Mel back on her game and handling Santos's prickliness well. I agree. She was wonderful with the patient who ended up struggling with bulimia. I also loved the discourse about a Black woman patient feeling more comfortable with the Black woman doctor or support. Loved that too. I felt a little role reversal from an earlier episode when Santos checked in on Mel, but Mel was too distracted to really talk. They both are distracted and experiencing self-doubt, but handle it differently. That is very true. I thought Santos was tough and curt, but I am empathetic to her. Triggering cases, Langdon's return, missed calls, and Al Hashimi's charting threat. That's a lot in a few hours, and that is true. McKay's booty patient. Oh my, I thought it was funny how her going along with his flirting and overture stopped after, quote unquote, that procedure. Good call. Loved her getting a date, though. So much more, but I can't write a novel of feedback. Well, I could, but I won't. ... Love your podcast. Can't wait till next week. Thank you, EM. That was great.
On our interview with the fascinating Brian Parker, man, it was, Linda1541 wrote, I'll be paying close attention to the sounds from now on. I've always thought the show sounded so real. This makes you appreciate all the work that goes into making this show.
So
yeah,
freaking true.
Just really added another layer to all of it. Thanks again to everybody for the feedback and for all the love. We love hearing from you guys every week. It really makes our day.
It does.
It makes a huge difference.
Please keep it coming. If you would like to get in touch with us, leave some feedback, or just say hi, you can email or send us a voice message as an attachment to what's on tonight and the number 2@gmail.com.
You can also visit our Facebook page where there will be a post for the next episode, and you can leave feedback in the comment section or send us a message through Facebook Messenger. We can be found on Instagram as well at What's On Tonight Podcast and the number 2.
We would greatly appreciate it if you leave a review, comment, like, and or share on your podcast listening app of choice.
So, how about we wait for the new patients from Westbridge in the ambulance bay and talk about where listeners can find us, podcast recommendations, good TV or movies, or anything else that you'd like to share? Justin, what do you got?
Well, I think Imperfect Woman, but I don't want to say anything just yet. But my new show, not my new show, my old show, Actors Night. You can find it on Actors Night on Instagram, and you could also go to Justin Wings Wade on Instagram for further information and find out what I'm doing.
Awesome. And we will post links to both of those Instagram pages in our show notes. I do recommend y'all. Justin is a very entertaining actor, and what he does with Actors Night is really, really cool, giving these people place to show up and do their work and in front of a very cool audience. But also the photos that you post are fire. That last one with you walking down the street with your little outfit on, it was hot.
Oh, that's something that's coming out actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, something that I'm directing a music dance video.
Oh.
Where I am dancing.
Ooh.
Oh.
So that's as far as I can go with that.
Okay.
But it's going to be, I think it's going to be pretty cool. I can't really go too far into detail, but I think it's going to be really cool.
That's amazing. Mandy?
One thing I want to remind people of, I brought it up a couple of episodes ago, is a woman named Amanda Nelson, who is on almost every social media platform that you can find. She goes by Amanda's Mild Takes. For any of us like me who are just constantly on edge about the roller coaster of what's going on politically in this country, I find her very calming. She's very fact-based. She's very action-based, and she's very non-reactionary. So I think that as many people as I can, I'd like to get funneled to be keeping an eye on her and support her work, because what she's doing is very important, and it's also very inspiring. And as far as just like stuff I've been watching, of course, I'm still really, really heavy into Drag Race right now. It's great escapism. I'm going back and rewatching. I'm watching the current season, but I'm also watching all of the prior seasons. And I've also started rewatching a series that you can find on Amazon Prime called Who Do You Think You Are?, which is about tracing people's genealogical journeys. They take celebrities and go back and trace their family trees and help them to understand more about typically immigrant journeys in their family. Noah Wiley was one of the episodes that they did, where they told him more about some of his immigrant ancestors. And I find that interesting in general, but I just think that right now, with immigrants being so demonized, I don't think it would be a bad thing for more of us to really understand that all of us at some point have an immigrant story in our background. Yep. We are all here because of immigrants.
Yep, I agree. Well, for podcast recommendations, Run for Your Lives with Paige and Daphne just released their coverage of the classic Night of the Living Dead. It was really great. That is one of the few. I dated a guy a gajillion years ago, and he was obsessed with that movie. I can't tell you how many times I've seen it. So please check them out, and a lot of other great podcasts over on podcastica.com. And for TV recommendations, I just want to suggest that everyone with Netflix to check out The Rip, starring Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Stellar cast, and it was a really, really great movie. So I highly recommend it. And as always, we want to give a big thank you to Mark and Pirate Core Entertainment for giving us this platform and all his hard work. Please visit the Pirate Core website. You can find it on our Facebook page. And there you can find our podcast, as well as other podcasts like Dinner for Her with our very own Mandy, Panels to Pixels, A Journal in Cinema, and other projects that Mark is working on.
Well, that wraps up our coverage of episode 4 of season 2 of The Pitt. We will be back next week to cover episode 5, titled 11 a.m. And be sure to keep an eye out for more great cast and crew interviews coming up soon.
Very exciting. And a huge thank you to our boy Justin for joining us. It really has
This
been
was so much fun.
a pleasure hanging out with you again. And I do hope that, I mean, I literally could pick a night and just Zoom with you and just talk about anything and everything.
please.
You're so amazing.
please.
We absolutely love you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you everyone so much for listening. Don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great. So reach for the stars, y'all. I'm Becky.
Still Mandy.
And I'm Justin, Alfred Vincent Bernie Wade Wings Jr. And I'm Justin.
We'll catch you next week when we grab the remote and see what's on tonight. Bye.